Welcome, folks. Good evening, or good morning, good afternoon. Nice to see ya. Thanks to Eric for tech hosting, general support today. My name's Eli or Ryn. I use both equally, any pronouns. Uh, the yay in the chat. Thank you. I'm doing my first time doing community-led medicine Buddha with Bumi Sparsha, so excited to be here. Zuleika, I see you. Well, you're right here for me, but yesterday we had a little the first Mother Harriet practice as well, so feeling very like a homecoming to this community. That's very nice after 2 years of kind of bopping in and out, kind of peeking my head in the door. So happy to be with you all today. If you'd like to introduce yourself, especially if you're new, feel free to use the chat. You can say your name, the lands you're coming from, maybe how you're arriving to the space today, or anything on your mind, really. We'll let folks float in till about 6:05, 3 more minutes. So if you need to get your water, have a little bio check-in with yourself, make sure you have what you need. In the chat, there's the prayer request doc if you want to offer prayers that I'll read aloud later in our practice for healing, for our communities, for whoever. That's there for you. We'll see how good my reading is today. Sometimes I'm a stutter McGee, so hopefully after chanting, usually that's the best time I can read. So you guys will get me in my prime third grade reading mode. I'm just reading the chats. I'll take a second to just kind of scroll over everybody's face or names. Hi, Paul. Hi, Anne. Hi, Lydia, Dusty, Courtney, Yael. Oh, so many names. It's nice to see all of you, or to even just read your name. We'll see your little emoji reactions. Thank you, Courtney, for the heart. Sending out a little love to each of your frames. Today I'm coming to you from Odawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi land, also known as Chicago. It's a nice, 45-degree day here today, which felt very warm. And, Southern California raised me, would be shocked that I could ever say that statement. But I do feel it's true now after living here for 6 years or so. And I will just say just a little bit about myself as we wait a minute or so. I've been practicing with Bumi Sparsha for a couple of years now, maybe two, and under Lama Rod. And had Eric as a practice mentor for 7 homecomings, which was beautiful. What a wonderful soul. And I was raised in the Jodo Shinshu and Rinzai Zen lineages, so kind of Japanese Buddhism. And of this past year, I'd say my past 10-year journey has been like coming into my own as an abolitionist, as somebody who's Black and descendant of enslaved people on this land. I've been really, I mentioned Harriet Tubman earlier. I've been really loving this kind of ancestral connection between like all abolitionists and Mother Harriet. And Mama Rod has been really gracious in guidance and helping me discover that connection. And so I feel every time I get to sit with any version of this community, I feel so, I don't know, empowered to be in my body. Not really sure of what it can do, but I'm at least in it. And so that is one gratitude I'll extend to y'all. But we'll go ahead and get started, I think. I'll just share a little, light some incense. I was thinking, kind of just on that trail of Mother Harriet this week, about really like Lama Rod always says, do you believe that you deserve to be free? Do you really trust and believe that? And I was trying to think of like what it takes to believe that in a like steadfast, consistent way. Um, I've just been really reflecting on that. It's just been, a very hard world and things are crumbling. And so I'm trying to make sure I'm like sustained and fortified as I move forward. And I've been really meditating on her last words, Mother Harriet, where I go to prepare a place for you. Those are her kind of last words. And every time I think of them, I kind of find myself dreaming up like, what is she prepared? What's the place? What does it look like? What's it going to feel like? What do I do to attune myself towards finding that place? And in Medicine Buddha, which is this practice, I feel that same kind of pull. Like, what do I need to do to really understand like the healing I deserve? That kind of physical, spatial, whatever's arising for me today, whatever form of healing feels appropriate. I think Medicine Buddha really allows me to just open up to that energy a little bit, give myself the opportunity to let it soak in, let myself feel that kind of deep blue. Like I almost picture like I know lapis lazuli is that deep blue stone that's associated with Medicine Buddha a lot, but I sometimes think of like a really deep part of the ocean where it's like not black yet, but the light's not quite all the way there, and there's that kind of deep blue still water, right? It's not like the waves at the top, but it's really moving in a real current way, in a way that forms, islands and lands. But in this kind of deep, vast way, I kind of try to feel myself sink into there with Medicine Buddha practice. And one connection I find between Mother Harriet and Medicine Buddha is this kind of empowerment through my voice. Uh, I've been practicing, offering, and facilitating Black spirituals often lately, and singing circles, and like really diving back into work songs because it's kind of a time of work right now, right? I'm thinking of my ancestors who were maybe born into enslavement. There was no space to come home while not working, right? Their lives were consistently work, and yet they discovered their freedom and eventually, were out of that context, or maybe they died and, weren't out of that context. But either way, that kind of energy that it takes to be a community no matter what, One of my friends the other day was saying that some people think of community as just having like a lot of close friends. And I was like, oh, yeah, what's wrong with that view of community? And they were like, oh, nothing's wrong with it, but I think we deserve a community of like even acquaintances who show up for you. Like being in a world where you don't have to know that person for them to feel your community. And I was just like, oh, whoa, what a spacious way to think of that. And in thinking of my voice, oh, I see the land stewardship in the chat, and I love reading that. I hope that goes well for you, friend. But in thinking of that voice connection of singing spirituals, of work songs, of chanting, I really appreciate thinking of the sound that we make, the vibrations that we make when we chant or sing, right? These are, forgive my repetitiveness if you were there yesterday, but I was thinking about the same thing today. So that's what I'm talking about. But these are physical sound waves, right? It's not just something we hear, magically there's a sound produced. The sound is physical vibrations in the air, right? Traveling. And when I was younger, I was going through this like little sound healer program, and it was really interesting. I learned a lot of things. One thing we spoke about specifically was like entrainment, this kind of idea of what happens when two vibrating systems are next to each other, right? What happens when I sing next to a bowl of water, right? It ripples, right? Because you can see the waves going through it. But also, the frequency of the waves is slowed down and it's joined kind of with the frequency of the water. And then it leaves that changed by both of us, right? Transformed. And so with our chanting, this is a sound that we're generating in our chest. We're getting that heat, that feeling. But it's not just stopping here or stopping when we can't hear it anymore, right? It's going through and beyond and out. We're like casting a big kind of spiritual net, I feel, or a big, I don't know, communal, energetic shout every time. I come from a martial arts background, so sorry if some of my things sound abrasive, but I mean it in a gentle way. But if you think of that like fierce compassion, right? That kind of get free or die, Mother Harriet compassion, that call of even just medicine Buddha, hear me, see me now, right? Our opening mantra, kind of, that's the translation. But that kind of energy or that deep calling for truth, community, liberation, to be able to see, I think we can cultivate in this voice, or at least just experience, remember that we have the power to do that it's all there. And to really know that, humans have been using their voices since before language, right? We've been singing together. We've been, flutes existed before pants did for, I think, a whole century. So like really music, language, expression, that's been our mode of seeing ourselves, right? Of reflecting ourselves to each other, of exploring each other. And so we can lean on those physical sound waves that our ancestors have produced too, right? Those work songs, those efforts, those deep sighs that they took at the end of their days, those kept going out into the universe, right? And so we can add to that kind of stream, that collective current of tens of thousands of years. I don't know how long humans existed. A long time. I know we've been with dogs for at least 30,000. So really a long time, right? In our kind of scope of a lifetime. And so those sounds we can add to that current, that stream, and we can hopefully let that be a light that shines that clear path to going to the places that have been prepared for us, right? Speaking of a long time, it's also a very short time, this modern age of capitalism, industry, globalization. It hasn't always been this way, right? We've birthed free worlds over and over again, right? We've seen people like Harriet Tubman arise, right? Jesus, the Buddha, whoever your people are, they've been here before. And they're here right now. We're here right now, right? And this trick of time being so short and so long and so non-linear all at the same time can be so heavy to sit with when we feel trapped, feel stuck, feel hopeless, right? And one thing I think Lama Rod teaches me a lot is that maybe it's a James Baldwin quote also, but it's something about just simply not being able to afford hopelessness anymore. I don't think it's a bad thing to feel hopeless at all. That's not what I'm saying. But just with the way I've had to struggle and the way I see my people struggling and the way I see the world struggling, somehow I just feel I can be distraught, I can be overwhelmed, I can be taken down, but I still have this deep well of hope, and that comes from, I think, being able to, for me personally, just for me, being able to open that door to my ancestors and know it's been done before. No, none of us are doing something for the first time, right? It's all been done, and we're just remembering, like Lamarad says, we're remembering that we're already free. And so before we go into our mantra practice, I thought maybe we could do a little grounding exercise together. Feel free. Everything I offer today, not just this, is opt in, opt out, right? If you need to take a break, take care of yourself, move, leave, come back, please feel free to really listen to your needs as they arise. But for this practice, let me turn on regional sound. Okay. You can place the palms at the chest if that feels comfortable, together, maybe just connecting with the thighs or belly, wherever really feels safe and good for you to just get some contact with yourself. And we'll just take a few deep breaths in together, slowly humming out. So I'll show y'all once. We'll breathe in and hum out. Just letting the breath out, feeling that vibration, that warmth in our chest. And we'll just do this a few times. You can go at my pace or your own. We'll breathe in. Breathe in, hum out, perhaps feeling that hum sink all the way down to your belly, to the earth. Perhaps this time we breathe in, sighing with the mouth open. Letting ourselves be filled and emptied. Perhaps we take a few natural breaths here. The invitation is to just kind of open the palms as a mudra of both holding, invitation, and the kind of accepting of being held to our ancestors. If you want to generate a little heat, I see Eric, I'll copy them. You can rub your palms together, and then we'll take a deep breath in and offer. And then perhaps hug that offering to yourself as well. Lamarad often talks of, instead of pouring out our cups and then being refilled, trying to pour and receive at the same time. Perhaps we can find the resonance of our voice, from our ancestors, from Medicine Buddha, and receive as we pour out. Just finding that deep blue, balanced state. And feel free to take a moment to come into your spot. If you feel like you need to adjust your body, find a posture that's appropriate for chanting soon. We'll move into our chanting practice soon, our mantra practice. If you need to offer prayers, the link is in the chat. Thank you, Eric. And as we move into these chantings, the invitation, I don't know, I'm maybe just extending to my own space, and perhaps you can pick it up and join me, is that I feel that heat, that warmth, that vibration in my chest, and learn how to trust it a little bit. You know, what does it look like for me to trust my own voice, for me to let it, the expression of it, guide how it sounds, how it feels, how I move? How do I let this kind of opening mantra of Medicine Buddha, I pray that you know and look upon me? How do I know that Medicine Buddha isn't just one thing, right? Isn't just this little blue rock I have on my altar, or this little, picture of a blue Buddha in a medicine document or on a scroll. But if everything is everything, then Medicine Buddha is all of my ancestors, right? And so, how can I open this space up so that they pray and look upon me now? And that they know my face. I don't want to be a stranger. I want to know them. I don't want to have to know them, wait to know them until I'm gone from this world, right? I'd rather start knowing them now, because they did a lot. And a lot of them really want my liberation and work their whole lives for it. And so I'd love to get to know their wisdom before I pass from this specific form. And so we'll start with an Om. We'll do the opening mantra 3 times, and we'll end with one Om before going to our bigger one. So if you'd like to just take a clearing breath, you might breathe in and out. In our opening Om, move on into the main mantra for Medicine Buddha. It's in the document and in the chat. The mantra is Tayata Om Bekanse Maha Bekanse Ratsat Samungate Soha. Oh, sorry, 2 Bekanse, it's at the front. I was focusing on my incense. There's a song version, and there's many versions, but the number of bekanseis is highly contentious. And so sometimes I'm singing it. We'll see if I get it right this whole time, but I'll try to stick to the 2 and then the 1. But this will be our main mantra. Like this, I pray for the end of pain and suffering and the root of pain and suffering. And I release the energy of this prayer out to the world so that we all may be liberated. Again, releasing this kind of spiritual fishing line, right? That just goes and goes. If you think of, the whole planet Earth extending this arm, or if you think of one of those big, many-armed dakinis or deities extending this fishing rod and just casting it out into the stars, right? Just flying, flying, flying. that's kind of how how powerful our voice is. You know, in kind of a, my imagination is always kind of in exaggeration state, but that's also true, right? It is literally doing that. The waves are going. And so we will chant this together for a while. I'll start slow, using the drum. Feel free to use the prayer doc request at any time, filling it, and I'll give you all one more reminder before I read those in the middle, and we do one more round. Taya ta umbekunze bekunze mahabekunze raza samungate soha 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 taya ta umbekunze bekunze mahabekunze raza Hazza Samgate Soha. I'll now be shifting my attention over to the prayer doc, which is again in the chat as well. Prayers for Ethan and Lisa as they plan to marry for peace and ease and happiness. Prayers for my brother Michael and my friend Richard. May they find healing and freedom. Prayers for my husband John, that he receives healing, peace, and feels held by great love. Prayers for myself so that I may show up with my heart full for my partner. Prayers for Daniela as she moves through tectonic shifts in all parts of her life. May she find her spiritual journey. Daniela. Prayers for Remy, that they have an easeful finish to their school term, which has been so taxing. Prayers for myself as I move through grief for the skin I'm shedding. Prayers for my father as he heals from back surgery. Prayers for myself and my various complicated health journeys. Prayers for all to have ease and clarity. Prayers for peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Prayers for Israelis and Palestinians to find a way forward that is kind and understanding. Prayers for my brother. May he find the love he has been seeking. Prayers for the people of Palestine. May they be free, safe, and well as soon as possible. Prayers that my anxiety and physical symptoms ease. Prayers that my family's financial situation may improve. Prayers for bravery, that we may be able to do what is necessary. Prayers for my beloved. May they receive the love I send them. May their heart break open so they can know how worthy they are. Prayers for my father. May he be appreciated. Prayers for my sister and for myself in the midst of our difficulties. May we find a way through. Prayers for the people in Gaza, occupied West Bank, and the whole of Palestine. May they be free. Prayers, love, and light for my community in the trans anti-racist decolonial cooperative that was broken into and vandalized in Spain, for providing mutual aid and support and legal aid to undocumented, radicalized migrants, and for also providing solidarity space for Palestinians during this traumatic time. We are heartbroken to learn this news. Prayers for the easeful travel and gentle arriving for Her Majesty Aisha. Prayers for all of us journeying to Southern Dharma for time with Lama Rod and or Lama Justin. Prayers for healing of this congestion that has been holding on in my body. Prayers, love, and light to my mother as the primary caregiver, to my father as he struggles with Alzheimer's, and for myself that I may continue to find support as a caregiver as we transition to a new stage of his disease as it progresses and we transition to moving him to a memory care facility. Prayers to feel the pain I feel in my chest with this recent news, that it may lift. Prayers for DW and DR, whose born days are today. May they be showered with blessings and peace. May they live peacefully. May they live fully and experience abundance. Prayers for the delegation, for all from the organization. May we find our way to safety and sanctuary. May we honor the land with humility. May we honor our bodies with honesty. May we confront and digest harm and violence and bravery with bravery. May we remember peace. May we know joy as the companion of grief. Prayers for my mother and father and all blood relations. May we continue to resonate and repair. Prayers for all of the co-learners in the classes I am responsible for. May their hearts be guided. May they release the work. May they remember their divinity and inherent dignity. Prayers for SM. May her body experience healing and release. May she know how grateful I am for that moment of honesty. Prayers for myself. May I remember joy. May I trust inner wisdom. May I honor my body. Prayers for Lama Rod and Lama Justin. May they live long upon the earth. Prayers for Connie as it discovers old trauma and learns how to heal. Prayers for Harvey, who has entered the bardo, and for his wife Evelyn, and others who are experiencing grief after his death. May they have comfort and peace. Prayers for Aditi in finding substantial, sustainable life's work. Prayers for Clem as they heal from a major surgery. Prayers for Lucky as they watch their people pass. Prayers for my chosen family, who is almost half Palestinian, that we may hold each other during this time, and prayers for each and every being that is, has, or will be. May we all find liberation. May all beings be free. And shifting back to our mantra again, that is Tayata Om Bekanse Bekanse Maha Bekanse Ratatsangate Soha. This time we'll go through it just slow the whole time, no speed up, slow down, and the invitation is to really sink into whatever arises right now, knowing perhaps if it feels safe enough that whatever's on our minds, in our hearts, whatever is able to be put down can be safely put down for now. We'll pick it back up when it's ready. It'll be there waiting for us. But perhaps for these next, few minutes we can dive in that sense that when you're in that deep blue zone of the ocean, you're in the middle of a great expanse. The 7 seas, things that touch each part of the globe, right? And beyond, when we're in this kind of deep blue medicine Buddha energy, in our breath, in breathing in, we're taking in all the plants that are breathing out to us, right? There's all these cycles that are just giving birth to each other over and over again. And so maybe we can slowly melt into a little of that healing energy, knowing that, as Lama Ra says, all the earth has to do, I think he said, is shake, wiggle, and jiggle, or something like that, and we're gone like the dinosaurs, right? She'll be okay. But how beautiful would it be to remember that we're the same and to get to join her, right? To come back into, drop it like it's hot, like Carla said. How beautiful would it be to drop back into that deep knowing that we are the land is us, and we steward each other. We express to each other, right? So that's my kind of energetic invitation for this next mantra round. And we'll get started. Tayata Bekanse Bekanse Maha Bekanse Raza Samgate Soha 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 Tayata Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha Daya Taum Beginze Beginze Maha Beginze Radha Samgate Soha. And before we move into Shanti Deva's prayer, which will be in the doc and also in the chat, I'd like to offer kind of a transition spiritual for you all. I feel so grounded in practice with you all, and I don't know, Bhumi Sparsha has been a portal for me, or many portals, arising, I don't know, like the thing I'm thinking right now is ant colony. I don't know why, but all I see is an ant colony of portals. And I'm crawling through and excavating and crying in some and, grieving in some and just like screaming in joy in some and finding my siblings in the others. Thank you, Yael. I'm glad you could come for when you were. But yeah, I've been just opening. And it's grounding to be in spaces like this, because opening that much can also feel like unraveling. And unraveling can be necessary, and it can be devastating. And so feeling like I'm unraveling, I'm a sweater that unravels into a spool of yarn that's been, what is this called? Turning for centuries, right? Sorry. I'm just not great at speaking sometimes. But this ball just keeps going and going, and it's just, all of our unraveling coming together to make this big, amorphous, wibbly woobly ball of yarn that is the whole universe, right? All tangled and interconnected. And so this spiritual is one that came during the time of kind of U.S. enslavement, that kind of era, and has been made over and over again. There's a lot of versions of it, but it's called We Shall Not Be Moved. It's also called I Shall Not Be Moved, and I'll just do the 4-line version. So just the kind of heart of the song, kind of the mantra, or the dharani, which is that's the word in Zen, at least, that they use for like spells and things like that. I don't know if that's in every tradition, but yeah, dharanis of this spiritual. And my kind of, context spatially in this, I'm in this room that I'm in this digital space with you, and also whenever I sing spirituals, I feel I'm in the sweat and work and sighs of my ancestors, and rather than hearing my voice, I am trying to listen for them. One of my teachers, Sensei Ogui Sensei, he's used to be the bishop of Jodo Shinshu a long time ago, and he used to always say, chant with your ears. Who cares what you sound like? It's how you hear it. And sometimes he would say that, mid-chanting, and we'd know that we weren't paying attention, and we'd quickly tune up, but you could hear the change immediately when we're just like, oh yeah, this isn't my voice as in just in me. This is my voice as in my voice is the heartbeat of my people. And that's for me to pump into my body whenever I need it, right? And so this little one is called We Shall Not Be Moved. So feel free to hum along, sing the words if you know them. I'll sing it 3 times through so you can catch on if you'd like to. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. And lastly, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. With that energy, whatever's arising in you, we can move into Shanti Deva's prayer 3 times together. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey in a boat, a bridge, a passage, for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine. May I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed, just like space and the great elements such as earth. May I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey in a boat, a bridge, a passage, for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world, until everyone is healed, just like space and the great elements such as earth. May I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach until the ends of space. And lastly, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world, until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May we dedicate this practice to all beings. May we send the merit of this practice out to all that is, are, and will be, and were. May all beings experience liberation. May you all feel loved. As just a closing note before we check in and have some time to reflect, say hi to each other, I just, in Shanti Deva's prayer, thinking of the further shore, I used to, all right, Nat, I see you, Miles, and Jasper. Sorry, I had to read that. That's one of my favorite phrases in the world. I have a real good uncle that's his catchphrase. But the further shore, sometimes Pure Lands, I grew up in Pure Land Buddhism, and though that's not my home now, there's still a lot that it taught me, and thinking of a Pure Land, that idea, sometimes in the West, or, the West, can be sought as like somewhere we go or somewhere we get to be, like nirvana somewhere else. We get to go to heaven, basically. It gets Judeo-Christianized. And a Buddha field is made by the Buddha, right? The whatever Buddha. Buddha as a title, not Buddha as any specific Buddha, right? So we purify our lands, and they become pure over centuries and centuries of us collectively remembering who we are. And then we look around and realize, oh, it was here all along, right? We just had to remember how to engage with it, how to till this soil, how to fertilize this land, how to connect and let go. And so I feel, so much gratitude to everybody. Thank you, Eric, so much for your help. Thank you to each and every one of your smiling faces. I'm going to turn myself on gallery mode. I forgot I could do that the whole time. Didn't have to look at me. But, thank you for the claps. You guys are so nice. But if anybody, feel free to just come off mute, raise your hand, chime in the chat. If you have something to say, a question even, I'll do my best. I'll just open up the space.
Maybe this is when we all applaud.
That's so nice. Thank you so much.
Off mute, everybody. Come on.
They don't have to come off mute. Thank you so much.
Clap.
Thank you. You are all
Round
truly.
of applause.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Eli. I mentioned earlier that I'm on some land right now with some friends in Georgia. And I was farming in Louisiana the past couple of seasons and have been asking for spirituals to come to me. And I'm wondering how spirituals are finding you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that question and the phrasing of it. Spirituals have come to me both through dreaming practice and through connection with just some of my friends who already had an established spiritual practice. But they are in kind of either I won't categorize their space as non-meditative, but in just different spaces than I run in. And so I was looking on how to bring it into these spaces. And for me, I think just looking up I've been like humming a lot. just humming to myself and when I work, when I move, this is kind of my job too. So like when I'm moving with people or when I'm just like moving through my own stuff, I find myself humming lately a lot. And at first I was just singing kind of a lot of nonsense songs. Like I take care of babies, so most of the people I talk to can't quite talk, so you don't have to be clear. You just babble and you sing, and so that's kind of how I talk to myself a lot of the time. And I was just humming so much, and I found myself humming this melody. And this is actually a song my grandparents grew up in, like the black church, pastors and things like that, and I knew them when I was younger, and so I've heard this song so many times sung, I just forgot about it. And so after doing that, there's someone named Aaron Johnson who's really a lovely singer and a leader of black spirituals, and there's a bunch of other people who do it in a meditative sense. But yeah, I've been just really, I had this dream a couple months ago that kind of like broke my heart. That was Harriet Tubman singing to me this song after I'd already looked it up and heard the words again. So, the words were already in my head. But it was just me sitting at her feet, her in her chair, and just her hand on my shoulder, just singing. And I just cried. And I woke up sobbing. And it kind of took half the day to kind of get back into a non-liminal space. I just felt like, oh, what's opening right now? And since then, I've just kind of leaned in. So everybody's welcome on Sundays to come. We sing spirituals every week there as part of our practice. Yeah, if you want to come find us there, we're finding spirituals together too. So I hope that was not too much ramble. Thank you, Miles, for the question.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else today? Where is the spiritual singing? Oh, it's on Zoom. It's it's on the calendar, the Bhumi Sparsha calendar, and I think Eric will put it in the chat too if you'd like to join. It's the Mother Harriet Liberation Practice. We do a long breath exercise called Okinaga, where we really open up our breath and lungs, and then we get into some singing with that big open chest. So feels nice. All right. If that's all today, I see all of these lovely messages in the chat. I'm just scrolling to feel them a little. Beautiful. Thank you all so much for joining me today. This was such a nice time. Thank you, Eric.
Oh, so in closing, Eli, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Period.
Thank you.
And thank you all for being here. Please, take care of yourselves. Lama Raj should be back around town next week. And again, I continue to extend the invitation. If anyone, we just have a Google group. If anyone is interested in dipping their toe in the possibility of maybe offering a community-led practice. I don't know, Eli, what's the verdict?
I'd
How
say
was
do
that
it.
for you?
It's fun. I was nervous. I felt like I was okay. Not to like project too much, but Lamarad heals a lot of my black dad issues, and so I was like, I'm filling in for dad today. I was nervous, but I'm so happy I did it, and I feel so held and supported by all of you.
Oh. Well, and it's such an intense blessing to just receive all of like these different embodiments, these different refractions of light of this practice. And just like, it's a delight to celebrate them over and over again with all of you. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in that, just send me an email. I'll add you to this Google group when things arise. Sometimes, with Lamarad, it's like I find out about it when y'all find out about it. But then there'll be, a message will come out and you can sign up, and there's some materials that are all we try to make very easy to find. Just some videos to watch that Lamarad has asked folks who are going to be offering practice just to take their sweet time to work their way through, just so they feel like there's a foundation. You have a foundation to like really feel empowered to share your authentic practice. Yeah. Okay, that's too much. Yeah, and so actually, I won't get if you messaged me on Zoom. Apologies. Email me at eric@boomisparsha.org. And yeah, and thank you again, Eli. I know that. Ooh, you just brought some radiance into my life. Thank you.
Thank you all for bringing radiance back into mine. I'll see y'all when I see ya.